excited to have you all gathered here, and also our panel to discuss their publishing experience, and hopefully we'll have information that's useful to all of you. And I'll let Stacy Cochran introduce himself and the rest of the panel, and y'all can get started.
Thank you so much.
Coffee in the back if you need it. Restrooms are back in the children's section.
Can you guys at the back hear us okay? Up here, we're just going to have to project a little bit, I think. My name is Stacy Cochran, and I'm the author of the Colorado Sequence, which we have copies of here. I'm writing at North Carolina State University up in Raleigh, and I currently am putting together a TV show, which is going to be called The Craft with Stacy Cochran, which features author interviews and a live studio audience. I'd like to introduce the other panelists here today as well. To my right here, we have a local author who writes under the name of K. Robert Campbell. He goes by Ken, though, with friends and family. So K. Robert Campbell is the author of The Fifth Category, a suspense thriller about a country lawyer named Cameron Scott who, while investigating the murder of a client, uncovers a group of federal bureaucrats that plan to overthrow the U.S. government from within. And I think we have copies of that if you want to hold up one of those.
Is that fiction or non-fiction?
Read it and figure it out. A little bit of both, I think, in this day and age. Also, we have to Ken's right here, we have John Batson, who is the author of The Rand's Conspiracy and the Songwriter's Cookbook. An internationally performing musician, he has sung before the Kennedys, the vice premier of China, and has produced numerous Hollywood musicals. And we have John's book here, The Rand's Conspiracy, which is for sale to all of you today. And then to John's right, we have Katie Jameson from Lulu.com. Katie is the rep officially from Lulu today. Of course, all of our books up here are published with Lulu.com. But if you have specific questions about how Lulu operates, we're going to all try to answer those here today. And Katie is in the community department at Lulu, so she does a lot of community outreach, conferences, meeting people like everybody here today, in fact. The way I want this to break down, first I want to talk a little bit about their books, and then I have a few questions for the panelists, and then what we'll do is open it up to questions here. So ideally what I want to do is wrap up the panelist part of it within the next 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll open it up to questions for 20 to 30 minutes as well. At the end of this, I'd like to do a drawing for some freebies up here, and then after that we'll break up and socialize and sign some books. So let's start first with Ken to my right here. Tell us a little bit about your book, The Fifth Category.
As Stacy said, it's the country lawyer involved in it this is the first of, I hope, a series of at least 5. I'm following with numerical sequence, 5th category, 4th estate I'm in the middle of working on. Next after that will be the 3rd degree. I'm just working my way down. And if they go well enough, I'll do like they did with Star Wars, go up to 10 and work my way back down.
So where did you first get the idea for the book? Do you remember exactly how it came to you?
No. It just evolved slowly over time. I just got this has been a work in progress for about 4 years. The next one's going a lot faster. I just started, well, let me back up a little bit. When I ride around in my car, I get about a 20-minute commute each day in the car, put music in, listen to it, and when I listen to music a lot of times, I'm creating stories to go with music. And I got some type of music that just kind of stemmed the idea of what I've got in here, and let it flow for a while before I started to put it on paper, and then decided, why don't I try it? And it evolved from there.
So did you have the idea for the story first, or the protagonist, the character?
Probably the character first, and then I tried to find something for him to do, and came up with the story. I think they evolved about at the same time. Really.
Now, how long did it take you to write the first draft?
The first draft, again, from inception, thinking about it, thinking through some plot lines, and sort of, I call them scenes. I do act a lot too, so I call them scenes in here, but and then trying to figure out how to connect the dots. The whole process, again, took probably about 4 years from inception to final edits to getting up to Lulu to out into print.
A bit about your book, The Rand's Conspiracy.
The Rand's Conspiracy is about a fellow who kind of takes you on what's been called a Bourne-style chase as he and his development team run for their lives after creating spyware for a government-funded company in Washington, D.C. He goes to a party, gets good and drunk, as some people do, and wakes up in the morning and finds he's the only one left alive. And that's when he begins to gather his development team, and always one step ahead of the gunman. And I started writing this after reading a number of articles on data gathering and what's happening. You've all put in your information. You've put in your information online. You've answered a magazine questionnaire. So they not only know your mother's maiden name, but also your pet peeves, your secret passion, and your sexual preference. And out of this, we can fashion, how to sell you hair gel, or whether or not you should run for office in the future. And if you're already in office, we can also fashion from all this collected information whether or not you should continue in that office. And that's really the basis of why he's running for his life. Because he's created the software that can gather all that information and pull it down so it can be used. He did it so the government could guard against it, but it got out of hand. The rest you're going to have to read in here.
So how many people have any fear that they actually have too much of their personal information over the internet? This book sounds like it would be ideal for you. So again, everybody all together, what is the name of John's book?
The Rand's Conspiracy. Very good.
Awesome. And then to John's right, we have Katie Jameson. I'll just throw this to you, Katie. Tell us a little bit of the story of Lulu from beginning, to where we are today.
Right.
Sort of a history overview.
Okay, well, I guess the real story behind how Lulu.com started was our founder, his name's Bob Young. He had a very, very successful company that he co-founded called Red Hat, and it's basically a software company, and very, definitely something that's not related to books in any direct way, but he had quite a few challenges and a huge amount of success with his company, Red Hat, and so he decided to write a book about it. And once he started trying to navigate the publishing kind of terrain, figuring out all the ins and outs of it, he realized how archaic it really was, and how in some ways his knowledge of technology and software and making these tools available to the public over the internet could be a